I'm not wrong.
Spoiler. It's not
Stop.
a spoiler.
Yes, no, that is a spoiler.
No, it's
yes,
not. It's
it
like
is a
saying,
spoiler.
okay, you
no,
played
it's a spoiler.
Legend of Zelda.
Regardless of the fact that it's like in the Zelda pantheon.
You've played Legend of Zelda. You've played video games before. I know that you have. I've seen evidence of this. It wasn't a spoiler to say that you're gonna go fight that guy at the end of the game. You know that. If you're playing the game and you're conscious.
Still fucking said you're gonna fight blah blah blah. That's a spoiler.
I
yes,
did not.
you did.
I did not.
You said, oh, and the part
Because
where
all
you
the way
fight,
through the
blah,
game,
blah.
all the way through the game, they're like, "You're gonna go fight this person." It's ridiculous. He thinks I spoiled the game because I told him, and I won't say it again.
Thanks. It's a little late.
Who you fight at the end of Zelda?
Have you ever played
It's not
Zelda
the end of
before?
Zelda that she was talking about, though. Here's what it is. The guy at the end of the game, you don't know he's the guy at the end of the game because he's someone else.
I didn't even say that
Yeah,
guy.
but see, you in saying, well, you fight this guy, and then, oh, if it's Zelda, you know who you're gonna fight, because at the end of
You
the game,
do.
it fucking, you tie it all together in like a neat little package, and all
You
of a
didn't
sudden,
think about
the
that,
end of the game's
Mr.
ruined.
Mr.
You know,
Analyze the video game, Mr. I know the secrets of all video games. You didn't think about this for 2 seconds, like
maybe I didn't
at the end
think
of
about
Zelda.
who the end of boss of Zelda
At
was
the end
gonna
of
be,
Zelda,
but
you're
like,
gonna go and fight.
end of Zelda, blah, 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 blah. I
It's
don't
not
want to hear
a
it.
spoiler. You've played Zelda.
It's the boss battle itself that matters. Who cares what the name and the like? All I'm saying is it's the experience of playing it. It has nothing to do with knowing the story is whack. It's the same story as every other Zelda, dude. I don't care. It's whack.
I am not wrong. It is not.
Yes, you ruined the transmogrification of a character into another.
That's not even a word.
I think it is, actually.
That is not a word, and if it is a word, it has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now. What? Why are you weak, Ryan?
Oh, nothing.
No, why?
This was a sad day at EB for me.
You about Pimp My Ride?
I thought about it.
Oh.
And then I was also gonna get Red Steel, but
Instead, you bought the Halo 3 Legendary version.
yeah, cat hat.
I've got mine ordered too. I did the same thing.
I want the disc, not the hat.
I'll take your hat.
I believe that I'm spending extra money because I appreciate game video content and I want to, experience all of it. But I could care less about the
You're
cat hat.
so Oh, I don't like Halo.
Halo
I don't
sucks.
like it's so popular. It's fucking fake hater. I see what you're doing.
It's not that I hate Halo. I think it's fine. I think that it gets far too much acclaim.
think it's
far more than it deserves.
because Valve and Half-Life deserves
Are way
more.
better.
Yeah, exactly.
They are.
Fucking fake hating confirmed.
Whatever.
And
Go
you.
fuck yourself.
It's not fake
No.
hate. It's you are spoilers.
No
I am
spoilers.
hate.
Here's a spoiler. You're gonna buy all 3 versions. Retail, collectors, and legendary. Your new friends at Bungie aren't gonna send that to you? Aren't gonna send you a hat?
Hey, I don't wanna go to work today. Wanna stay home and play all my video games on the One Up Show. You know you'll be a star on the One Up Show. You already are. Every day, this life's a holiday. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show. One up, 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 one up on the One Up Show.
Hey Brian, how far are you in Zelda?
I'd say a good old 20 minutes.
Dude, you got a 4-day weekend. We're all at the end of the game. What's your problem?
I was home for Thanksgiving in Familyville, doing the parents, the in-law thing, everybody meeting each other. So I was stuck with no Wii, no PS3. I was only with my DS. But one thing I did discover, my portable game of the year, in Elite Beat Agents.
Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! He was a boy, she was a girl, and I'll make it any more obvious. He was a punk, she did ballet. One more than that, yeah!
How do you like a skater boy?
I love Skater Boy. That's like that is like my, I would never admit that I actually like that song, but it's like, there's full of those songs, there's more like Material Girl, I was like, oh,
I was about to
God.
say, you seem like a material girl, Brian.
I am. I live in a material world, that's how it is. But I mean, it's just like quirky songs like that, a guy like me would never admit that I like or would listen to, and it's all those like wrapped up in like these weird like stories that the agents come and help these people, like the girl with the babysitting, and she's trying to impress the guy at the same time.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, I'm not big into those music games, so I don't know like how it compares, in terms of like challenging, but I found it like it ramps up in difficulty perfectly.
I was gonna say, did you ever play the original Owendon?
No, I didn't. No.
Oh.
Karen did.
Yeah, I totally did. And the thing is, like, a lot of people who played Owendon are sort of like, no, I'm not going to touch EBA because it's Americanized and it's like a bastardized version. But it's actually really good. And the song selections are like, they're guilty favorites, but they're like classics.
That's a perfect way to describe it, guilty favorites. Like,
yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Like, I would find myself, like, replaying, like, parts just so I could hear the song again.
No, I
And
totally
was
do
like,
that too.
Oh my god, if anybody ever saw me do this, they would kill me in football lands, But, I mean, it was really fun. And I found it, like, pretty challenging, like, in terms of, like, the ramp up difficulty. Like, the first songs are pretty easy and standard. Then, like, by the end of, like, my 4-hour flight, like, it was getting pretty damn hard. Like, I forget, it was a song after Material Girl that I played. Like, I was definitely having some tough times with it.
It's weird because Owendon was it definitely ramped up in difficulty. It definitely got challenging, but with Elite Beat Agents, it was actually, on one hand, it was a lot harder than Owendon, but on the other, it was a lot easier because it was a lot better designed in where they do the layouts and how the buttons are definitely placed. So while I'm doing more buttons and it's definitely ramping up in tempo, it makes more sense. So even though it's throwing like 15, almost 20 things at you at the end of Jumping Jack Flash, it doesn't seem as hard.
So what would you guys want to see in a sequel? Would you want to see a sequel?
Oh, absolutely.
And what would you
if they
wanna
kept it going exactly as they did with Elite Beat Agents, just kept picking all these guilty pleasures, and then kind of obscurish hits like Jamiroquai's Canned Heat. If they kept going in that area, absolutely.
I think the song choice might be probably the hardest thing for them to achieve for a sequel, because it, like after like Luminous and after all these other music games where they're getting a lot of crap for choosing pop songs, like SingStar too, with Gwen Stefani. I think they're making their selections very clever, but I'm sure there's a lot to weed out to choose those songs.
So my favorite change from Owendon to Elite Beat Agents is really just like the little spinners. Like my DS is just scratched to hell and back thanks to Owendon. But Elite Beat Agents, you really kind of do it at normal pace and you get everything you need, and then it's even easier to get the extra points. Which in Owendon you were lucky if you got it.
Yeah.
What really struck me about Elite Beat Agents coming from Owendon is really just the amount of effort and just like love they put into this game. It's the comic book panels are just as well done as they were in Owendon, if not better, because now they have the actual like little dancing segments where they're actually using hand-drawn sprites, which is really nice looking. It definitely beats what they were doing in Owendon.
It's really good. I just found myself it's one of the it's so cliche, but kept playing it over and over again. I just totally enjoyed it. It's exactly what I wanted in a portable game. I'm not even a big portable game player most of the time. It's for me to spend almost 4 hours straight playing this was, like I said, total surprise, total shocker. I remember getting the preview build and kind of playing around with it, and I'm like, I kind of like this, but all right, I don't want to. And then all of a sudden, I took it home for Thanksgiving, and I was like, yeah, everybody's playing Zelda, but at least I found something I would have never found if I had just gone away on vacation.
Skip. What? No. Take it from the top. Take it from the top. It's horrible.
Work today. Home and play video games.
Have you ever played a real guitar before, or
Yeah.
have you ever taken a lesson, maybe, or read a book?
I'm self-taught.
Really? Yeah. Okay. How do you feel about taking a lesson?
Do I have to pay for it?
I'll pay for it. Okay. Give me 1 sec. 1 sec.
Oh, I got fragged.
GG. Yeah, it was a good game for me. What you watch from the sidelines.
10 kills.
I haven't played much of the single player yet at all. I mean, I started, but I'm in the Mexico phase, and it feels a lot like Raw. But you guys have played more.
Yeah, the first level really lets it down. It feels like Raw light.
Yeah.
And then when you finally meet up with your teammates, and it's trying to sort of introduce you to the new cover system and to working with the team and instructing them to do stuff, but it's too long for a tutorial.
Yeah.
And it's not until you arrive in the street in Vegas that it really sort of feels like the game proper.
Sir, we studied the casino's blueprints. The tangles have the entry points covered. So we'll go through the wall. The Buggles won't expect that.
They're trying to have a story this time and trying to make you care about the characters, and I don't remember any of their names, and it's just you know that 2 of the 4 guys got
captured by this mean bitch.
This mean bitch who's trying to do something bad, and for some reason something in Mexico City is connected to something in Vegas, just completely randomly.
I mean, I know she takes 2 of the guys hostage.
It wouldn't be a game, Ryan. Come on.
Well, it could be a game about revenge. Your character, what's his name, Logan? Logan could be pissed off.
That comes
Wow,
later.
you remembered his name.
I didn't really care so much. Like, it's just single player. I liked a lot better. I know you guys like multiplayer better, but to me, single player was really, once you got out of Mexico and you went to Vegas, that's where I'm like, wow, this is so much better than the old games, because you're like on top of this casino and you can decide, do you want to crash through the skylight or do you want to take the stairwell, go down, and there's just so many ways to go through each level, and it just feels, even though it's still, in essence, it's still linear, but you didn't really feel like that, like you're tied to one path.
And you're too nervous.
What?
In position. Well done. You have
I really liked that the enemies weren't in predictable places every time. Like, sometimes they were, they still had some of that, but there were times where the first couple of times these enemies would crash through the skylight, like 4 of them would rappel down and take you on, but then I died, and then the next time I reloaded, they didn't do that. Like, I was just sitting there waiting for it to happen, and I kept moving forward trying to trigger it, and then it just never happened. I'm like, oh, all right, they're kind of mixing it up so it's not so predictable this time around.
The game is linear, and it's divided up into segments where you're sneaking and it might throw some. Everything is a contained area, basically. So there's like a level structure within the narrative of each location. So you'd be, okay, now I'm in the tunnels between set pieces, and now I'm in a big firefight, and that firefight is contained, and part of the fight is clearing the room, and then the surprises that come, and then when the surprises are done, you're done with the level, and you're on to the next piece of the linear narrative.
One of my favorite set pieces, to steal your word, is it might have been in Calypso, where you're at the bottom of the casino and there were like 4 levels up, and there's all that like smeared like different glass configurations, and you'd be like looking through the glass, and like there was just this whole long conflict in there, and that was fine, but it wasn't like clearing a room and then a door opens. Like, I hate that.
Some of the gameplay elements, like, it just rams down your throat. But the idea of like flanking stuff, it does through just having the guys talking about a flanking maneuver or hearing that an enemy is flanking you, and then it dawns on you that there's a lot of these rooms that there's a fight in the middle, and then there's like a corridor all the way around the outside. And you need to kind of explore the outer perimeter to know where the best place to go in, or like you were saying, Shu, where you need to send a guy up to have him drop through and then sort of clean up from above while that guy is like mowing things around on the level. I thought it was really well done.
You're good. On your feet.
In Vegas, you only have to control 2 other guys. There's only 3 guys total, so it's much more easier to manage because you can say, I'm going to go this way and flank from this side, and there's only 2 guys that you have to worry about going from the other side. So you don't see them dying as often or getting stuck or taking weird paths because there's only 2 AI guys to worry about.
The fact that there's so much movement in a casino really helped build the tension. So you'd be sneaking around, it'd be completely quiet, and all you could hear is like the sound of the slot machines or whatever. And then you'd catch some movement out of the corner of your eye, and you turn to look, or you'll sneak around, and it'll be a fish tank, and it'll be fish that caught your eye, or it'll be a broken slot machine that's suddenly spewing out coins to sort of build the tension as you were leading up towards something.
And you'll see those things in the environment if you're playing it in HD, because the game in composite, I mean, like Shu was playing it just now, it looks pretty rough in SD, and the text is really small, and I mean, it's another one of those games where it's
Detail on the character
frustrating.
models you completely miss in standard def.
It is Unreal Engine 3. It looks like, on an HD TV, fantastic. The character models look totally detailed and awesome. The environments look really, really nice. Like, lots of little details like volumetric fog in the tunnels, or, like the casinos have crazy lighting. And
It might have been cool to see more kind of real-world realism in the game where, yeah, there are people, like these are casinos, there are thousands and thousands of people in them, that maybe there's still some people left behind and you have to kind of either get them out of there or make sure they don't get hurt. Things like that just would add to the immersion.
I like the face mapping. I think it's really cool that, like, when it's working, to see like your friends running around. It makes it like when I was playing with Kathleen, I had no question who was Kathleen because I look over and she was the only blonde one on the battlefield.
All right, cool. Wait, which door over where? That one? Look out!
I told her it was a lot more fun shooting her knowing that very clearly that was her and it looked like her.
Yeah.
I like how many options you have with the clothing as well, and the fact that you can just put the armor on one side.
Yeah, I have armor on one side, yeah.
Right
What?
shoulder pad and...
When would you do that? Like, would you always be entering the room the same way or always peeking from the same
Oh, I had
corner?
no tactical reason for
I think
doing
it's
it.
cool that another way to make you distinctive as a model so that you instantly know when you see someone is, oh, Ryan's always the guy with just half the armor.
The multiplayer's solid. Shu complains that it's like the same thing that we've been playing, since Rainbow Six 3. And on some level, you're right. Like, it's not that much different.
I love Rainbow Six 3 so much, and Lockdown sucked so hard.
But it was essentially the same thing. I just felt like, and I played this in several games before, I was looking for a lot more in terms of modes.
I just wanted a really nice looking next gen version of Rainbow Six 3 as a base. Me and him disagree on this, but I think the cover system's better than Gears.
I prefer the cover system in Gears.
I like yours because my finger gets tired.
Oh. Oh my god.
And your back is to the wall, and so you're looking at your chest, the front of you, and then when you back out of cover, you automatically go into first person, facing the right direction. Gameplay-wise, it makes sense because you don't want to be flipping the camera around, but it's like your body did some magical 180 move instantly. Where Gears, because it's in third person, and then you could roll out of the cover or anything like that, it just seems more intuitive to me.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't bother me at all. I have no problem coping with the cover system in Rainbow Six. In fact, I quite like it. I like the amount of control that you have, and I think it's easier to, you can, by just pressing up or sideways on the analog stick, come like up on top of cover or come to the side of cover. I feel like the control is wonderful. The one thing I miss from Gears of War is the ability to quickly roadie run, or whatever, out of my cover to the next piece of cover.
I need overwatch!
It's the same sort of problem that's endemic with Gears of War that is with Rainbow Six, is that we were trying to play ranked games last night before you guys got on, and you play a ranked game and then you get dumped immediately after the ranked games finish, back to the screen with your character.
I mean, the root is Microsoft, right?
Yeah, here's the thing. The root is Microsoft as far as like Microsoft says that you can't play in ranked games under these scenarios. However, Bungie was saying like, yeah, you can do that. It just requires a lot of extra programming and the development of this matchmaking system. That system that like creates your team of 8 people and finds a team of 8 people or 6 and 2 and syncs them up and then throws them together. If it's a development issue, then your team needs to take time and develop the game to incorporate that.
And if it's Microsoft's issue, Microsoft needs to fix it, or simply get Bungie to like make that shit general so that everyone can use it. Pay them middleware, you know, whatever.
The thing is, if they want you to play it as a team game, like why would you go into a ranked match for individual rankings, you know, to play with strangers? Because the point about having a team game is you're going to have strategy, you're going to have names for what the positions are. If we win as a team, then our team rank is what matters. It's not what his individual rank
The
is.
fundamental problem is because there's no clan support in live, that everything ultimately comes down to your position as an individual.
Your true skill.
Your true skill and your gamer score.
Instead of like
So
true skill.
if you three are great and I suck, and I rank up with you guys, that's not my true skill.
Like, there's no reason why the 4 of us shouldn't be able to team up and be like, all right, let's go get a game. I hit A and we go find a game and play 4v4. And like that doesn't exist in this game. I mean, I don't really care whose fault it is. The onus is on Ubisoft because they published the game.
We want to be able to get the ranked achievements with our friends.
I just want to be able to play the game quickly. Like, I want to be able to log in and be playing multiplayer. I don't want to be fucking searching through like 18 different lists of dudes to play with. Like, oh, this room's 4 out of 16 people full, so I'll go sit there and I'll wait for 14 minutes. That's absurd. That's so archaic.
Do you guys want to play another game?
Yeah, I'm gonna win again.
All right, let's do it.
We're playing co-op. You're not winning anything. It's a team
Yeah,
game.
it's a team thing where I won. Me.
Rated RP to M.
Squinky died last night.
What's a squinky?
Squinky was a squazzle.
Okay, huh?
He's a little squirrely dude. He was the first gift that I got from Jared, and he was one of the first more advanced creatures in my garden. And he came in and he helped attract other squazzles because they're attracted by level 3 creatures or whatever. So once you get something in, it'll pull in a bunch of other stuff.
I named him Squinky because he squeaks when he sleeps.
Yeah, and Squinky had been there since the very beginning. And last night, I had a Marshmallow and Squazzle war going on, and I stopped the Buzzlegum war, and then the Sours came in. You right there? So anyway, I stopped the Buzzlegum Raisin war, which was getting pretty heated.
Right.
And some Sours came in, and like the big birdie one hopped in, and the one that pukes the sour candy out.
The crawler.
Yeah, and Squinky ate some candy and I didn't see. The first thing I heard about it, I got a...
Did you have the chocolate coins to get the doctor?
Well, I did, but I didn't know he was ill. So then the first thing I knew, I get the little message and it says Squinky's dead. I was very upset about this. I mean, he was doing fine. I could have saved him, and the doctor could have come in, and money could have. I mean, it's like an observation on the healthcare system in the U.S. The next Squazzle that comes in, I'm thinking of naming Squinky 2 in his honor. But there was a genuine moment of angst when Squinky died last night. I'm sorry.
That was really sad.
I can't talk anymore. Someone else say something.
Did someone eat his innards?
Yes.
Yeah, the garden enjoyed.
Everybody else.
Everyone feasted on his inner candy.
Tell me more about the Buzzlegums and the Tunicorns.
No,
So
the
the
puzzle.
unicorns like heals like sick pinatas. So when you finally get it, and he has like this candy mountain cave, and it's like clouds and rainbows that he lives in. When a pinata gets sick, you stick the unicorn on him. You shoot them with like hearts and rainbows and
Like a Care Bear stare?
yeah, Care Bear stare.
What's cool is like once you get to a point where the Tunicorn is within reach. If you've seen the TV show, you actually know what to do
Yeah.
to get it in. because there's one of the early episodes of the show is about it's a gummy tree, right?
Gem
So
Gem
a
tree.
gem tree.
Or we could plant a gem tree. Look.
Unicorns can't resist the aroma of gem tree gems growing in the night. Oh!
So it's as the plants start to get more fantasy oriented rather than sort of real world stuff. That's when the sort of crazier creatures start to come in. But if you've seen the show, you know if you plant a certain kind of tree, it's going to attract the sort of more fantastical creatures in, and they have the better abilities, and so it's the show works. Been a bunch of stuff online with what people are doing, and a bit like The Sims, I think people are starting to use it as these little petri dishes of behavior. So I think once you've built one garden and you realize that you can bring in the sort of the genocide aspect to it. So when you have these wars going on, you do have to reach a decision where I either want buzzlegums or raisins, and I want either foxes or chickens, or you can't have everything. You have to get past this feeling of wanting everything to coexist peacefully, because it's not going to happen.
I don't think at all it's like The Sims, because you're controlling the environment. You're not controlling the piñatas per se. You're not like making them pee or making
you're just
them
influencing
eat.
them.
Yeah,
right,
you're just
right?
like, well, I want you to go here today. Okay, and that's done.
You can build things where you can force them to breed and put them in a contained area. So you can build these little concentration camps for creatures where you're like, okay, I'm going to wall off the area that you require, put all of your requirements in that space, and just make you shag.
And it's like almost like Beavis and Buttheadian experience for me when I play it, because I'm sitting there like with my own sort of internal monologue, like
laughing.
these dudes are gonna do it, and I'm like sitting there thinking that while I make Grundle and Smorgasbord do it. So you have kids? Do your kids get into it?
I think mine are a little young. I'm not sure what kids they think they're aiming at, because I think older kids that can play it are gonna think it's uncool because it's little happy, fluffy, colorful things, and kids that will respond to it, it's too complicated. So what it ends up being is it's a really good game for parents to play with their kids around. There's not many games on 360 that you can have on with the kids in the room, so it's definitely, it's going to work just for that, and I think there's going to be a lot of dads that are pleasantly surprised that there's a game they can get into. Because there's a lot of micromanagement and fine-tuning the environment, and you're not going to be able to dig into it that far until you're a bit older and you understand the implications of what it is you're trying to do. And I think as you're reaching the point where you understand it, you're not going to respond to it.
For Game of the Year, like I didn't rate many games that high this year. I think I gave Viva Pinata a 9. That for me is a really, really huge deal. And I really have no question about it though. Viva Pinata is my favorite game
I
of the
think
year.
Viva.
It's better than Gears of War.
Really?
Wait, say that a little bit louder.
It's better than Gears of War. It'll have more staying power than Gears of War.
I think it's going to be a pretty tight race for what I think Game of the Year is this year, definitely. And this is definitely on my very short list.
What else is?
Zelda, from what little I've played of it.
It's okay.
You think it's okay?
It'd be one of the best games of last gen.
I think maybe Gears of War on that list, but not as definite as Viva.
Here's what we're gonna do. Okay. First off, let's start off with a low E. Give me that low E screen. Then we're gonna go to that G. Go to that A. And then back to D. Okay. On a count of 3, we're gonna start rocking. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
1, 2, 3. Sounds easy enough.
Yeah.
Now, everything I learned on the real guitar, I actually learned from Guitar Hero, the video game.
Is that true?
That is actually very true.
So Guitar Hero 2 is out. Everyone's been playing it for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of people have their favorite songs. What are your favorite songs? Guitar Hero 2.
I'm a huge fan of Jordan by my friend Buckethead. I think
Yeah.
that's just, I think what he did for the game just raises the entire thing to a whole new incredulous level. And now it's a big thing to do it on Expert because kids are posting their videos of, I just 5-starred Jordan like it's, hey, I just tied my shoes for the first time.
People on our boards actually started a thread saying Guitar Hero 2 is like noticeably harder than the first one. Did you guys do that on purpose? Did you notice that? Or is
Oh yeah. I mean, tons of people were just huge fans of GH1, so we had to up the ante. I mean, we still had the easy difficulty, so you still can jump right in there. But I mean, for all the people that mastered Bark at the Moon and Cowboys from Hell, we had to.
That's the starting level now.
We had to
yeah,
bring those people back down.
Yeah. So, what's the process for selecting songs that show up in Guitar Hero?
So-
did any bands come at you after the first one came out saying, "Oh, this is awesome. Can we do
Yeah,
this?"
pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
And we've said this before, but man, if you're representing an artist that you know isn't going to make it in Guitar Hero, keep trying, because you never know when we're going to do something really, really horrible.
So, how do you get once you select a song? How do you get that song into Guitar Hero? Like, how do you translate it?
What we do is we get an idea of what we want. It finally comes back, it gets approved, and it goes through all these different levels of approval. So then Wave Group will give me a call and say, hey, this is one you're doing in particular, and you gotta get it ready because you're scheduled for Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning or something like that. So that's when I know I got to start getting into gear. I'll go into Wave Group and they'll have what's called a mix minus ready, and it'll be a drum track with a bass all ready to go, and I'll just come over there, and what we'll do is we'll listen to the reference of the master track out of one speaker, and then I'll start tracking along with it once we get an exact replication of the tone, the feel. And this is where all those crazy things come into play, like what kind of pick I use. I mean, I analyze the playing of the guy that I got to play, so
Which amp was actually used
You
in
researched
the
a lot of
original
the
song?
original
yeah. You know, we made it a sticking point this time to really go after a lot of the original equipment to add to that level of authenticity. While you guys were enjoying, your lives at home, I was destroying my hands for Hangar 18, like literally for hours, for about 3 days before, just slowing down phrases.
Page after page.
Getting the right sound, getting the right performance, capturing that performance is literally the most important thing out of all my jobs, because without the strength and quality and sort of like the music doesn't pop, I just don't think the point of rocking gets across.
So once you get the music tracks down, how do you translate that into the Guitar Hero controller, the 5 buttons? Because there's a lot of notes here.
They're amazing. Like they actually pretty much hand place them. I mean, they're all musicians themselves, so they can kind of base it on, like, as you notice when you play the game, like the green button's always like the deeper end of like it, and all the way down, so the high end stuff is on the orange button. So they'll just hand place them, listening to the track, slowing it down, and place them little by little, playing it a little bit and going, oh no, that needs to be adjusted here, there.
Just so it feels right.
So it's a long process that, I mean, they're pretty damn good at. Yeah.
So what's in store for the next Guitar Hero? Any ideas, or are you just resting from the
I mean, yeah, we're working on the 360 version. Everybody's saying like they were calling out for a new guitar shape, so we made the Explorer. So
Is there anything set on the downloadable content for the 360 yet?
Nothing set right now. Yeah, it's just all in the planning stages. But I can just say everybody will be happy.
You know, we've had a wonderful day here.
Yes, we have.
We learned a lot. We laughed a lot. We cried a lot.
I cried a lot.
Ted farted.
That's why I was crying.
That's why I was crying. But because you were such a darn good student, and well on your way to becoming the rock god that we know you are, on behalf of everybody at Red Octane, we bequeath to you the wireless, the first one ever, to you.
3 AAA batteries.
Not included.
No, they are.
They are included.
Yeah. That's 2 gifts in one, actually.